up, everybody? Welcome back to the RPR podcast, where we talk about the real shit and not about real estate. I'm your host, Brooke, the millennial agent.
It's your girl, Tyra Nicole here.
And I am Nicole Pay, a.k.a. Robert Courtney. And today we have Miss Michelle Saward. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
We are substituting for our sick co-host.
Yeah, it's just the second podcast Nicole hasn't been at. We're struggling without her, but she's sick today, so I guess I'll give her a pass.
I'm going to do my best.
That's right.
So in true Nicole fashion, we should probably start with...
cheers.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Cheers.
But I'm going to do my traditional...
You got to do the little
around the head.
Around the head.
All right.
All right.
You're supposed to look eye contact when you do that.
Oh, yeah? Is that how it's supposed to go?
Yes, like you're supposed to give eye contact when you're taking your sip.
Like it's bad luck if you don't make eye contact.
Like be a weirdo.
Oh, is this a Michelle thing or is this...
No. That's
Okay.
You'll get people will comment.
Yeah.
If you heard this, that you have to
Yeah.
look people in the eye when you take your sip. It's a
I
little
think
weird.
I've heard it.
I've never heard
that.
It's bad luck if you don't look in somebody's eyes.
Oh, that's what they say.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's around the head. And
I was about to say, should we do that again?
Should we stare at each other's eyes?
I've literally never looked anyone in the eye.
I was about to say, I'm bracing myself for the tequila.
Just FYI.
Yeah, we got tequila today. We don't have the Snoop. Snoop champagne.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to Trace Generaciones.
Yeah.
New tequila on the market.
Yeah.
So
It's pretty good.
try it.
All right. Well, I guess maybe we should give an intro, or Michelle, you can give us an intro on who you are.
Okay. Who I am outside of real
Outside of
estate.
Like if a stranger was gonna
Who's
ask
the real
you,
Michelle?
what do you do? Explain what you do
Explain what I do.
to an Uber driver that's driving you.
If I were to explain it badly.
However
you can explain it
wanna
normal.
explain it.
Explain it normal.
Let's ask it differently.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You cannot tell them that you're a real estate agent, but you need them to know who you are.
Who you are as a person.
How would you describe yourself?
But I need to who I am as a person.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is
Outside
how we're
of
opening.
real
Yes, let's go.
This is how we're opening. Because I'm like, I could give the generic if I can't say, okay, fine, I'm a real estate
There is
agent.
no generic allowed on the RPR podcast.
But it could be, you could give them like the weird, that funny answer that's like going around, like I open doors for strangers and make money. Like I could say something like that.
True.
Like
You
Yeah.
could.
right. There's plenty of ways that I could say that.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
But that's what I do. That's not who I am. So who am I? I'm constant state of discovery. That's who I am. It's never done. The minute I tell you what I think today, it's going to be totally wrong tomorrow. So I'm a ever evolving, ever changing, ever growing, ever learning discoverer of myself in this journey. So
I love it.
that's
a
it.
good way.
Yeah.
That's a good way to describe you.
I got a question. What
Already?
I do.
You ready?
That's the answer for Michelle right now.
Yeah.
Who was Michelle growing up?
Okay. Well, it depends on what age.
Okay, well
Start
let's
from the beginning.
I was
Start
about
back
to
if you
say
can remember.
start from the most interesting time period.
Oh
That
God!
you can remember.
Here it comes. Let's just drink this
What did you
tequila
expect?
right now. Hold on, we gotta take a sip.
This ought to be good. No, just kidding.
Okay. I was born a little poor white child in Wyandotte. No, I'm just kidding. And it's true. I grew up in Lincoln Park, and my parents moved off of one street in Lincoln Park because there was no kids, and it was. My parents lived on, what was that street? I can't remember what street it was, but Merrill Street in Lincoln Park. My parents moved off that street because there was no kids, and I would stand on the front porch. Now, you guys, you're going to cry if you got kids. I would stand on the front porch, and I would yell down the street, "Friends, come play with me, friends."
Oh.
Were you an only child?
Friends. No, I had a little sister.
Okay.
But she's like 3 years younger. So I'm 3, she's a baby.
Okay.
Like, or whatever, right? 4, whatever I was. And there was like a disabled girl down the street who was probably like 13. And she would come over and play with me. And so, and my mom said it was like the saddest, loneliest thing that there was no kids on that block. Like, I was too young to go to school. Like there was,
Okay.
and so they ended up moving, and not only that, but to get a house with a basement and to get one that had a 2-car garage, like to get a.
But the main reason was because it was no.
There was no kids. It was just and they had another baby, so now it was like, okay, we're in a house with no basement, and just there was not a lot of space. So they stayed in Lincoln Park, but got a 3-bedroom with a garage, and then I remember, this is one of the first things I remember, but I can't talk about what I do, is standing out in front of that house when I was a little kid, and I think it was a Century 21 sign in the grass, and I swinging the panel in the front lawn, like just brand new on the block, and just kind of looking around, like, okay, this is where I'm going to be now. Like I remember, like my parents telling me, this is your new street, this is your new house,
Right.
This is where we're going to be, and I remember that, and then I remember that street had so many kids, like just the half of the block on Lafayette Street, like it was crazy kids. Like my God, 2 over there, 5 in that house, 3 in that house, 1 over there. Like it was, God, another 2 over there. Like it was.
And what age was this?
Crawling with kids. I think my parents moved in there. I was like 4, 3, 4 years old,
so
whatever.
You're still really young.
So still young.
Still Lincoln Park?
Still Lincoln Park.
Okay.
Yep.
So that was like one of the questions they asked when they were looking at houses. It's like,
What's the neighborhood like?
kids on this block?
Right.
What's the neighborhood?
They scouted the street in the summer.
Pathetic
Yeah.
situation we got to get out of. It's really pathetic. And so I remember like just growing up, like it was outside all summer. Like it was just barefoot outside all summer, come home with the street lights. But one of the things that was interesting, so who's Michelle? This is one of the things that I started to mold me at that age, was I was 1 year younger than all the girls that were on that street and then that block. So they were in kindergarten and learning, and I was too young to be in kindergarten. So they would come home and, you don't even know what 1 + 1 is? Meh. And like, so it made me feel like I was not as good as or as intelligent or didn't, and now they're going to school full time and I'm just in kindergarten.
Right.
Like it was
It
just,
set the tone.
It set the
for
tone.
Everything.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So it was just always like, okay. And then I remember at Christmas time, Santa Claus loved the neighbor kids more than us. That was for sure. Because they got way more toys.
So the competitive nature started back during that time.
That young.
Okay, we're getting somewhere.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was a great street. It was just fun all the time.
So how long did you stay in that neighborhood?
Until I was in 10th grade.
That's a long time.
Yep. And then my parents were like, oh, she's getting in a lot of trouble.
Same group of friends?
Trouble? What kind of trouble?
Yeah, let's talk about the trouble.
Yeah. Was it the same group? I don't know. Like, yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, a lot of the same group, some new group, whatever. But by the time my parents moved to Woodhaven, I got my driver's license. Okay. So I was just still hanging out in Lincoln Park and barely met anybody at Woodhaven. Yeah. And I had a boyfriend already. I was established.
So let's talk about high school, Michelle.
So that's 16.
Wait, she didn't tell us what kind of trouble she got into.
So what age was that when you started getting in trouble?
Like 12, 13.
Oh, okay. So that's before high school.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it was.
Junior high.
Yeah. There was no junior high. Lincoln Park, I was in high school at age 13.
Oh.
My boyfriend was 17 when I was 13. Like,
okay,
that's...
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
So
he could drive you around and you didn't have a license.
Yeah. There was we had a white probe. Like, my boyfriend's friend had a white probe. Do you remember those?
I forgot about probes.
Probes were... The probes were like...
She probably doesn't even know what that is.
Yeah.
It had the base in the trunk, and he had the pinstriping on the probe. It had a red interior.
A probe was equivalent to like a Charger or a
probe.
Challenger now.
Didn't
like the
you
way
want
people...
that
I
or
wanted
something?
a probe so bad. Oh, you know why? You know why, though?
Why?
Because it reminded me of Knight Rider.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I just remember you loved probes or something.
Yeah.
Everybody
loved probes.
Everybody loved the... Yeah. So...
Whatever
That was
happened
the
to
car.
those?
It was the car. Yeah, it was the car. So So when I was like 13, I was sneaking out and going to parties in Southwest, and I was
Yeah.
So you were in Southwest. Okay.
Yes.
That's when the trouble started.
And my first job was working at the car wash. It was Pat's Car Wash then. Now it's Mia's. It's like Goddard and.
I know where that is. That Pat's Car Wash.
Yep.
It used to be.
That's what it used to be. My next door neighbor was the manager, and I wanted money because IOU sweatshirts were 2 for $50.
What?
Do you remember?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, who remembers? Do you remember?
It sounds familiar, but
Okay, IOUs. My parents were like, "We are not paying $25 for you get a friend, and you guys can each have one, and then you had to wear it on Friday to school because
IOU.
the IOU sweatshirts." Yes.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're not paying for that. No, you want to buy nice clothes, you get yourself a job. And I was like, I'm 13, and
So what-
whoever hired me.
So what made you get to that point, when you just started
Going to the parties.
rebelling?
Was it your boyfriend?
Well, I think no. I
Like,
think
how do you even meet the boyfriend? At
was-
13, you meet a 17
I'm in
year
high
old?
school. I'm in high school.
Oh, so okay.
Oh.
There was no middle school. It burned or whatever they did or demolished it. So Lincoln Park, you went 8th grade. I was at the high school,
Got it.
Okay.
which I'm telling you, that's not good.
Yeah. It don't
Yeah.
sound like it.
Not really. It's not good. So that's where at 13, like everyone's in the hallway together. Everyone's meeting.
Yeah.
Everyone's,
Got it.
this is, yeah. So
But if
that's-
I'm reading deep into that, my mind is if you're 13
yeah.
and you're attracting a 17-year-old's attention, then you're moving differently.
Well, I think his younger brother was like maybe 14 or something or whatever. You know what I mean? So, and his younger brother was dating my friend. And so it was
Okay.
like that.
That's how it.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how
You
it
guys
all.
are in,
Maybe
in
he moved
each other's
differently.
company.
Some
That's
guys
true
move
too.
differently,
That's true too.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys
Yeah.
are matured.
They're immature.
17.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just like that. It was like, so it was just like at 13, you just get like, oh, okay, this is, you're in it. Like you're acting like a high schooler or trying to.
Yeah.
You're trying
What's the
to.
craziest party or craziest memory you have at one of those Southwest parties?
Oh God, I dropped my 40 in the basement, and it was
Your what?
I dropped my 40,
40 ounce?
of St. Ides in the basement.
Is it a drink?
That's malt liquor beer.
It's malt liquor. I dropped
40.
this is one of the most this is like where it was like, okay, this is off the rails. So
And how old were you first?
I'm probably I can't drive,
Okay.
so I don't know, 13, 15.
Probably a good thing you couldn't
with the
drive.
40.
I don't know. And
Right.
I dropped my 40 in the basement, and that's when gangs were big.
Oh yeah.
Cobras were big.
Yeah, especially in Southwest.
Latin counts and cobras,
Yeah.
and that was when all that was going on in Southwest.
See, that's BMF.
So my first job was at the car wash, and there was a lot of cobras that worked at the car wash. So now the cobras and the car wash and the people and the parties and the high school and blah blah blah. Okay, so you see where this is all
Okay.
going
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah.
no. And so I remember like dropping my 40 in the basement, and it like smashed on the concrete of the basement in some party in some house, I don't even know where. And a fight broke out, and I don't know who was fighting. I don't know if it was women or men, or I don't know who. I don't know. I was too blown out to know.
Yeah.
And I remember getting scooped up and carried up the basement steps and out of the house, like to get out of that house. Like everyone fled, like running out. And
So did you drop it in the midst of everything that
Maybe.
was going on? And
I just remember glass breaking and beer going everywhere. And then I remember getting scooped up and a fight breaking out and someone carrying me up the stairs. Like that's what I remember.
Yeah.
Because I was so blown out.
So who were you
like,
with?
so wasted.
Like, were you with the boyfriend at the time, or just like some friends of yours?
Just some friends.
Okay.
Yeah, just some friends, some car wash friends, some high school friends,
Yeah,
and whatever
hanging
those
out.
hanging out. And I remember driving down 4th Street, laying on my stomach in the back seat, and while the car's in motion, holding the door open and puking out the car door, like while it's in motion. So
Wait.
somewhere
14?
between 13 and
13,
15.
15.
13 to 15, I don't know.
Where did mom and dad think
So-
you were at this time?
Probably at a pajama party or something. I don't know, probably like that or something.
That's what it always is.
Like something like that. so that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
By the time I had my 21st birthday, I celebrated it stone sober.
Because you had already
I was done.
did everything.
I was done.
Yeah.
I was done. Because then it just evolved from there. And I'm telling everything. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, Cameron.
I was about to say, who knows these stories? Because
Not a lot of.
I know for a fact Brooke doesn't get the full complexity of what you're describing. I don't. Are you familiar with Latin counts and cobras?
Do you remember
during
that?
that time frame?
I know, but I'm not familiar.
Okay.
Black and green and red and black.
So you familiar with BMF that's happening right now?
I don't watch.
You don't watch BMF? Okay.
I'm not familiar with that. What's
Okay,
that?
so BMF is based on Big Meech story,
Okay.
which is
Okay.
based on drugs and gangs
Okay.
in Detroit
Oh.
in like the 80s,
Oh. Okay.
basically,
Okay.
which is where kind of like,
I was in 8th grade in 1989.
okay, so the
end of
Cobras and the Counts came, that was like the next wave that
Okay.
happened.
Okay.
And it was probably like the highest, there was probably the most drug activity besides
Yes.
BMF. That was
Yeah.
probably the most drug activity
Yeah.
and definitely the most gang activity
Yeah, it was crazy.
that was ever happening. And so like people were getting killed and buried in lots.
Have you ever
Left and right.
Have you ever been by a gunshot? Were you ever like by?
Yeah.
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 You heard it?
I was trapped in a bathroom.
Oh.
With. Yeah. Hey, okay. Yeah.
Oh.
Let's talk about that one.
This was very and like that's why this is so interesting, and I know people are getting a kick out of this.
It's the realest people around.
You know, so I
like,
opened
yes.
up my barbershop, or I started working in the barbershop in Southwest in 2004. And so these were very regular stories, but that was 2004.
Yeah.
So the stories were about what was going on over the last decade or two.
Yeah.
So I was learning about a lot of things, but then it was kind of like the end of, it's like the feds and the cops had put kind of into the
it.
major activity that was happening. But when she was doing this, like this was
What was going
I was a
on?
kid.
yeah, like she
Yeah.
was right in the middle of like major gang and drug activity.
So we have eyewitness here to
Yeah.
Yeah.
things. So tell us about that. What you
Yeah.
were just gonna say about?
I mean, I got
Trapped
like
in the bathroom.
you're triggering all kinds of stories. Like when you're asking, like I remember another time, like getting drive. This was when I was older. Getting drive home, and this house of all these dudes just came running out and rushed my car and jumped on the hood of my car, and I was driving, and it was nuts. And I was like, oh my god,
you were like
This is
trying to get
Southwest?
away.
yeah.
It was
Yeah.
in Southwest.
Yeah, it was nuts. And so that was when I was older though. I was like I was 20, over 21 at that time, 21, 22. And I'm lucky that like I didn't get gang raped or something.
Yeah.
Like they were trying to like I got lured to a house, you know, and then these people rushed out. And I was like, oh my
And you
God.
didn't know they were gonna be there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was scary. And I got So anyway, that was horrifying. But then like about the gun or whatever. So yeah, so kind of fast forward, I guess, with the gun situation. That was also in my early 20s. I bartended, and
Yeah.
you know, we worked a lot of places. So I did that, and when the gun is like a complicated story that goes with that.
Okay.
It goes with I was bartending and hanging out with still a little bit of rougher people. Had my own apartment in East Dearborn, so that was interesting. Also, that's being the only
Yeah, I say you're in
being
Southwest.
the only single
Now she's in East Dearborn.
white girl in East Dearborn with no balcony and like just trying to have a beer on my porch. You get stared at like you can't do that in East Dearborn. And so
Well, you were around a variety of different backgrounds.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm living with my Korean boyfriend too. So this is all
Okay.
very interesting times. Anyway, later. But anyway, so I was back into bartending, and my appendix had just ruptured. So I was hanging around like a rough crowd of people, and I had my upper apartment in Dearborn, and I came home from closing the bar one night. And I wasn't feeling good, and I got invited to a party, and I was like, no, I'm not feeling good. I'm gonna go home. I'm really not feeling good. And I went home, and it stormed and rained that night, and my appendix, I didn't know it at the time. I thought I was like giving birth to a watermelon. Like I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I knew it wasn't appropriate to call for help at that time of night because it was like now probably 4 a.m. or something. And I was crawling on all fours, here we go with the vomiting again. Just vomiting like on the wall in the hallway. Couldn't even clean it up. Couldn't stand up. Hallucinating. I still remember my hallucinations. Had all this stuff going on. Waited till the morning. My parents were up north. Waited till the morning when the sun started to come up, and then I called who I could call for help, and I called my grandma, and my grandma ended up tracking down my mom and dad up north, saying Michelle's really sick and she needs help. And I remember I called Amy at that time and said I need help, and she had an apartment also. She came over, she gave me some burners and some aspirin. She said the flu's going around. And she was like trying to get out of there. Like, I'm not getting this, you know?
This is mid-20s?
Yeah, so Amy gave me some like aspirin and some burners and just left. And so then I was like waiting. And my parents tried to drive like 4 hours home. And they came to my apartment and just was like, you're bad. And took me to the emergency room.
Bad.
You're bad. Took me to like a minute clinic or whatever. And they said to my mom, take her to the emergency room. And my mom heard in the morning.
Oh my goodness. Take
her to the emergency room in the morning. This is what my mom heard for some reason. And I went to my mom's house where she could watch me or whatever, wait till the morning. I'm going septic, like I'm really infected. and went to the the hospital the next morning, and they were like, what took you so long to get her here? Like, what? And was wheeled in for emergency surgery. They removed my appendix. My appendix was by my tailbone, which is like a weird design. It's not unusual, but it's not normal. And so I was septic.
Wow.
And I was in the hospital for an appendix for 14 days, which now you're in and out in like 2 days. I was in for 2 weeks. And I remember like seeing the light, like I almost died. And my cousin and I had gotten into a fight over a dude, like a fist fight. And she showed up at the foot of my bed, and I was like, oh, she's going to jump me. Like, this is where we were. This is where I was at in my life.
Wow.
You know, like, oh, my own cousin's here at the hospital now to get me. She's going for round 2 when I'm in my hospital bed. And she didn't. She reached over and she helped me up and got me to the bathroom. And, you know, I lost a ton of weight. And I'm not big, so it was a lot.
Yeah.
And then I got out of there. He had the little bag and all this stuff. And I went back to the bar, like, hey, y'all, I'm alive. And it was like, I wasn't back to work yet, but I was like back at the bar, like, okay,
like
you know, hanging out. Like, all right, I'll be back here soon enough and you'll see me again. And hi, everybody. And these guys were playing pool. And they got into a fight. And while playing pool, because they were gambling money or whatever. And he said, I'll bet you this. And he tapped his pocket. So calling him out on his gun, that he was like, I'll bet you that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, don't touch my gun. Like, don't tap my pocket and call me out on a gun. And so he pulled it out in the bar. And, of course, we all just sort of like, bah! Like, you know, flew, like, you know, whatever out of there. And
what bar is this?
It was in Lincoln Park.
Is it
What was the name of it?
Yeah. Should we call these people out?
Yeah,
This is back and then. This is like a long time ago.
Yeah, we should
This
call them.
different owners, different time.
Yeah.
You know.
Is it still like establishment?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And so everybody, like, you know, everyone kind of, when the police came and stuff like that, and it was all like, okay, so that was that. So, and then like another time with the gun, that was, the police came in the bar, and I fled, and I locked myself in the bathroom, and I realized I locked myself in the bathroom with the guy with the cocaine, trying to get rid of the freaking cocaine.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no. That's a bad spot to be in.
That's a bad spot to be in.
Hold on. Okay, hold on.
That happened.
I think that's a
So,
great spot
the
to cut
police
the live,
came-
Reggie.
Yeah, cut the line.
Continue watching.
Yeah,
on-
was
yeah.
bad.
About to say you can
You'll
watch
see-
it
you'll
in a
get
few,
the link.
in a few weeks.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cut that.
You'll see the
There goes
link.
my career. Anyway, it's over. But
no, I was gonna ask, like,
so that was crazy.
so the guy was already in the bathroom, and then you got.
So the police came because they got
Oh,
called
so you
out on
guys
a
were
raid.
running.
They were
Okay.
they were calling out on got
Got
called
it.
out on a raid or a bust or something, and the police showed up, and so we were like, the cops come in with the guns drawn, like, this is a raid or whatever. Like, they came in with their guns drawn, like, everybody freeze, and you're like, and we just like, whoa, because it's not the first time we had a
Right.
gun pulled, so you run, and
Yeah.
I was in the bathroom. And I realized
You didn't realize
one of the
that he
dudes that was
there.
in the bathroom was the guy trying to flush all the stuff. And I'm like,
Oh, and you end up in the bathroom with him.
with him.
Wow.
Yeah.
You went into the woman's bathroom?
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
He
Why
was trying to
wouldn't?
get rid of this stuff.
Get rid of it.
Like,
Yeah.
so
What's the
it's
closest
possible.
bathroom? Who cares if it's men's or women's? Just freaking get rid of it. Right.
And then
I was
you
like-
probably locked the door and turned around.
No, I was.
You were
I was
already in there.
There was like 8 people in like a one toilet stall, like a one. You know
Oh,
what
it
I
was
mean?
more
Like it
than
was
just
jam.
you and
Everybody
him.
was in
Okay.
there trying to.
I've
just
been
be
in one of those
themselves.
situations where
You're like,
there's an
what?
active gun shooter type of scenarios, and you're not thinking about
Yeah.
anything
No,
but
like
like
getting away.
safety.
Safety.
Yeah.
Run. That's
like
it.
in a small confined space,
Yes.
it's like I need to get
Give me
Yeah.
a wall.
away. Yep.
Just give me a wall. Give me-
Exactly. So,
give me,
Yeah, I can
just get
imagine
out of
what
this-
that felt like
out of this space.
or looked like.
And so after that, like, so the second gun experience. So the first gun happened when I was like working there. When this is a raid, I was a bartender. Okay, fine, whatever. That was it. So that probably could have been written off pretty easy. That I was just working there. Like I had no connection with that person whatsoever. I just ran for safety, and that was it. Happened to be in the same freaking bathroom that he was at. The me with my appendix and the pool hall and the pool game that was going on. When he pulled the gun out, and then everybody just like, whoa, like I was like, you know what? I almost died like 2 weeks ago or a week ago, and now I'm about to die again. Yeah, I'm not working here anymore. This is it. This
Right.
is it. We're
So
done.
it was the same location.
Yeah, that was the same location.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's it. We're done. So then
Yeah.
I didn't hang out with those friends anymore. I didn't. I was done.
Smart of you.
I was done drinking
For that,
at that
yeah.
point. It was then that was that. That was like a whole.
So
Yeah.
this was a major point in your life, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
where
I
you
called-
like shifted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like my cousin and I love you. I'm sorry. Like I called my ex-boyfriend, like in the hospital, and then I go back to the bar thinking, okay, it's cool, and then I was like, no,
Yeah.
since that is not.
Well, that
good.
was like smart on your part, because if you
I
wouldn't have done that, like, who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? So it was
Yeah.
like, okay, all right, that was my fun run.
So what
That's-
age were you when you had that turning point? Like,
I had my apartment and I was bartending. So I was probably like, I was probably like 20, 22, 21, 22. I think
Okay.
my appendix was 21, 22, something like that. Yeah.
so you had already seen like
22.
a lot by the time you were
Yeah.
22.
Yeah, but 21, I celebrated that birthday sober. I was at the fireworks downtown Detroit, and I was sober. And yeah, so then 22, I was like, okay, yeah, that's
it.
about
Time to do something different.
22, 23, whatever it was, something like that, maybe. Yeah, I was done. Yeah.
So what was your next path in life after that part?
Then my friend, I went to, so this competitiveness, I did not get good grades in school. Not a bit. Nope. My parents, like, so there's two sides of the spectrum. Like, kids loved coming to hang out at my house and be around my parents and be in that environment, because now that I'm older, they would say, we love coming to your house because we could just be ourselves around your parents. They didn't have these standards or expectations of us. They just let us be us. Well, my parents let me be me. They didn't have standards or expectations for me to go to college. They didn't have standards like.
So they weren't strict at all?
No, I had no. So, the wealthier the neighborhood, the easier it is to get drugs. So I'll say.
Yeah.
So the drugs got so much better and easier to get at Woodhaven than Lincoln Park. Because in Woodhaven, people give their kids gas money for cars. Like to get, we didn't have gas money in Lincoln Park to get whatever. Or
Right.
we didn't. So I was like, oh, drinking a 40. Well, now I'm like tripping acid 3 days a week at school. Like it's totally different. Like
Right.
it's just easier.
Yeah.
And so now I'm at Woodhaven and it's better. And so my parents moved to get me away into different people, but different kind of trouble.
Different
Pick
access.
your
Yeah.
poison.
Yeah, different
Yeah.
different kind of access. And so I'm there and meeting some new friends a little bit, and really experimenting in a deep way, and with substances, and then I got what was it there? What was it? You asked me what was Tyra.
So
What
this
it?
was
You
after
said-
22?
She said, what's your next path?
No.
Oh, my
Yeah.
next path. So what happened after that? After 22? Yeah. So, so I was done. I was done with all that. So 22. Then my friend guilted me, and she said, "Oh yeah, you have a real job." I didn't know where I was going to go to college. I had no plans for college. My parents They didn't say you have to do this or whatever. So I had to figure it out on my own. And I ended up going to Henry Ford because I didn't want to get stuck at home when my friends were packing their stuff to leave, and I didn't know why they were packing their stuff to leave. I didn't know where they were going or how they made plans. I didn't know that you had to take a test. I didn't know nothing. And I was like, you think I'm going to live here after I graduate? You crazy. And so I rented a house in Lincoln Park. Of course, it was Lincoln Park. And Amy and I moved in together at age 19. And so moved out when I was 19 and moved into that house. And that's when I had to bartend to pay my way still. And I worked 2 jobs. I was a lifeguard. I was a bartender. I did anything to pay the bills. And I was going to Henry Ford. And then I went to U of M, Dearborn. And that's where I got the places in East Dearborn because they were cheaper. And I could pay my way. And so everything was like on me. So I had this degree from U of M and was still bartending and substitute teaching. And I had a cheap apartment and drove a Neon with a CD changer in the trunk. And
now I know what a neon is. Okay.
She's with us now. She's back. We got you.
Do you know about the CD changer in the trunk?
No.
Not in the trunk, right? But you know about the CDs. You know about CDs.
I know about CDs. Okay. Yeah, like burning the CDs. Yeah.
You had to load them. You had to pick your like 6 or 12
and put in the CD changer.
Not the best, but because I used to get scratched, and that would be so irritating. Like when I had a scratch.
You're driving and like.
Okay, I got a direction I want to take this.
Yeah.
So, this correlates to kind of your high school. You said you kind of dabbed into like acid.
Oh yeah.
And you recently went to do the ayahuasca, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the difference between the two, like the trip wise?
I'm gonna tell you. Where'd he go? Where's Reggie? He stepped out.
What is that? Because I don't even know.
Reggie's tattoo of that snake on his arm was. I gotta talk to him about that when he comes back in here because I was looking at that going, oh my god, I saw that.
And ayahuasca.
Yeah. So what's the difference?
What is it first of all?
So well, ayahuasca is a root. And it's like what? Oh my God! You'll see it in South America. You'll see it in like more Latin cultures or whatever. It's a root, and it's mixed and blended or whatever with another root together to make like a psychedelic. It's a psychedelic, and it produces like DMT experiences and
it gets you high.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
It's like mushroom trip.
It's a trip.
Yes.
Like a mushroom.
Yeah. I didn't do mushrooms. I went acid and then
a lot of people are into that right now, like doing mushrooms, and
microdosing and stuff like that.
Yeah, microdosing is super popular right now.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. So I went to Costa Rica.
I heard. Is that what like Will Smith or something was talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to Costa Rica.
There were so many.
Watch the book
I did. Yeah.
Bobby Brown was there like a week before I left. I'm like, if anybody needs this, he needs this.
Yeah. So tell us about that experience.
Yeah.
That's what she asked me about.
Yeah. Like, let's hear it.
Yeah, so I'm like, hi guys, I've had my share. Okay, all right. So I don't know. So like, oh my God, I don't know. A couple years ago, was it 2 years ago, Brooke?
Not quite, but like probably like a little over a year. Yeah,
like a year. Yeah, it was October. So 2 years in October. So a year and a half ago. Yeah. Dave and I went to Costa Rica, and they have a place there called Rhythmia where basically you can do ayahuasca in a controlled, bougie, freaking Sheridan environment.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So it's like barbed wire, safe. They have like medical people on staff, like, and you can have this experience. And so what it's meant to do is reconnect you with yourself.
Okay.
That's really the point.
Okay.
And to do a lot, they say you can do like 10 years of counseling in like a week. Like it's really eye-opening and revealing.
So you meet your higher self.
Pretty much.
Okay.
And they call her, it's ayahuasca, mother ayahuasca. So she communicates with you and shows you things, and it's such an eye-opening experience. And I got like some crazy insights.
What did you get?
So when I say that I'm a person that's ever evolving, ever growing, ever changing, always learning, like that's part of it, actually.
Okay.
Tell us your first experience of it. Like you woke up, like tell us the whole day.
It's such a long, we're going to be here. Like I can talk for days.
Well, maybe not the whole day, but like just an overall, maybe condensed.
It's 4 days. And I only did 3 of the 4 but it's 4 days, and they have in the Maloka, that's the place that you go. It's where you're for ceremony, and you go in at like, you don't eat dinner because you're about to puke it all up.
And it's like a whole bunch of people that's there?
Yeah, I mean, my group was small because there was no guest speaker, so there was like 50 people. But if there's a big guest speaker, it could be like 100 people. You know, like if you have like Michael Beckwith come in, or if you have like, or if you have like, what's his name, Campbell Chicken Soup for the Soul. What's his name? You know him, or like they have other different people that will come, so that'll draw a bigger crowd.
Was there anyone like that?
Not when I was there.
Like there?
I mean, there was an astronaut there we hung out with. His name's Ron Guerin. Been to the moon a couple times. That was pretty cool. So it was neat. That he knows me by name. I got stories. No, nobody like that there. But so it was. They put up on the wall, up on the ceiling, and it's like, show me who I've become, heal my heart, and merge me back with my soul. Those are just some suggested intentions that you can set while you're there. And so the first night I go in, I'm like, okay, show me who I've become. And then I said my prayer, and don't let my ego get in the way. Oh, Lord. Don't let my ego get in the way. Yeah, right. Okay, so it hits you. You take a little shot, and it's nasty. It's a little brown, nasty little shot. And
I heard it's terrible.
It is terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it tastes like a bad cigar or something. Like, it's not good. It's real.
And it's like thick.
And
it's
how much of it do you got to drink?
A shot glass.
Shot glass?
And they say, first they give you a class, and they say, here's what to expect, and here's what you're going to learn. And before you even do that, they teach you breath work, like how to breathe and how to, move through it. Yeah. And just during breath work, that'll mess you up. That was the deepest freaking breath work I ever experienced in my life. Like,
really?
Man, you can just breathe, just your breath. That is crazy. Yeah. What can happen? Like, my friend was like, let's go to breath work where our hands can turn into little dinosaurs. I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's basically like you can over-oxygenate yourself, like get so much oxygen going through your blood that like your hands will constrict, and like you'll get so much energy vibrating through your fingers and through your hands.
I can see how that could happen.
Oh, I had that experience. It was crazy. Yeah. Just during just breathing. And just during breathing, like, I had neck pain show up that I didn't know I had. Got home. They're like, oh, you've been in a car accident? Your C3's messed up. I was like, I wasn't feeling it because I was so tight all the time. Really? So we did breath work and learned how to breathe through it and all this stuff. And I do this first shot. Okay, show me who I become. Don't let my ego get in the way. I'm waiting for this thing to kick in. You're there for all night. Yeah. And they say, stay in the room. If they play music, like world music, so you ain't never gonna know the lyrics to this stuff. Like, you're not. There's no singing along. What?
Is it like different hertz that they play?
Yeah, I mean, it's so it's like ayahuasca music too. Like, you're not. They sing about like Mother Nature and the beautiful earth, and sometimes it's Indian music or
nothing that you're gonna recognize.
Nothing you're gonna recognize on purpose. They don't want you associating a memory with what you're hearing.
Right.
And so it's a very controlled, loving environment. The environment is everything. That's the most important thing. And they say, try to stay in the room. So if someone's next to you on the mattress and they're bugging you because they're like tapping their fingers or they're doing something, try to be with the annoyance. Be with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're laying on a mattress, flat on your back?
Yeah.
Looking up.
And I got my puke bucket. And I'm sitting there waiting for this to start. And I thought, as I like to control things and keep things in order a little bit. And I was like, you could feel it setting in, like I was going to get sick. And I said, okay, let's get this show on the road. Well, that was the wrong thing to say to Mother Ayahuasca. Oh. She was like, oh, you want this show? You said that out loud? I was like, well, loud enough in my head. Like, let's get this show on the road, man. If we're going to get sick. Get it over with, you know?
She probably heard it in your head.
She did. She did. And she's like, get the show on the road? Mm-hmm. We're going to go both ends at the same time, sister. How you like that one?
Oh, man.
And so I'm in the bathroom, like, sitting on the toilet, puking in a bucket, spinning this big wheel of toilet paper, and it hit me because I was like, this is stupid. You don't need to do this, Michelle. This is dumb. You paid how much to say how many nights at some fancy resort that's like celebrities visit for life experiences. You know what? You don't need to get fucked up. This is dumb. You don't need to participate in this. No. Okay. This is a good way for some people to take rich people's money. That's good. This takes American money. That's good. Good idea. And
that was your subconscious mind talking.
that was my ego.
Yeah, your ego.
100%. Yeah. And it hit me in that bathroom. I was like, that's my ego. I recognized it in that moment that it was holding me back from going all the way and fully experiencing and being free. And that was control trying to set in. And I was like, okay. So I walked out of that bathroom and I was like, give me another shot. Let's go. And so that was like eye-opening. And then we moved through the rest of the days, and I left there with a beautiful experience.
So I got a couple questions. The first question is, from that moment, or I should say before that moment, could you recognize your ego talking?
No, it's sneaky.
Yeah.
It still is.
I was about to say, do you feel that since that you've been more able to identify like that voice that's your ego versus anything else?
I mean, there's moments where you can take pause and like say to yourself, why do I want this? Like, is this ego driving me, or is this truly something that I want to do, or you know, what's the motivating factor? Do I really need that car? You know, or whatever, right? For sure. Like, where you can self-analyze that. But I think it highlighted it in such a big way that I ask myself that question more often now than ever before.
You feel like, do you connect it with that experience? Because I know, like, everybody says I've had probably 4 or 5 conversations about ayahuasca and different individuals who go, and the biggest thing that I get is that everybody's experience is their experience. Like, no 2 people are going to have the same experience when they go and they do it. And so if my issue is that I have a big ego and I am struggling to discern what's ego, what's not, then it's possible that ayahuasca is going to help me understand that voice and then be able to kind of better function based on, you know, my own evaluation of what is driving me, I guess you can say. Yeah. And so I was just wondering, like, you know, do you feel, because that was what you requested. You're like, don't let my ego get in the way, and then your ego went. You
did say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Don't let my ego get in the way. So then I recognized it in that bathroom, and then I came out of that bathroom like full throttle, like freaking give me another shot. And I walked up.
Which could also be ego though.
But it was like, I recognized it, so I was trying to shut it down. Yeah. Like, you are not going to stop me from going all in. Yeah. You'll look stupid. You're going to look, I got drunk in downtown Wyandotte. And I told you I was pretty much sober from 21. I had a little too many martinis, and I walked into a bar, and I knew I was 2 tips to be in that bar. And I gotta go. I don't want anyone to see me in this state. And I called an Uber and ditched everybody and didn't tell anyone where I was going, and I just left. Yeah. Because I was like, I do not want to be seen in public messed up. That's control. That's ego.
Yeah, ego too.
Right? That's your identity. That's like, oh my God.
Hey, do you
listen to a business owner sloppy?
Tolle? Right.
Do you listen to Eckhart Tolle or have
Eckhart?
read his book,
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle?
I should dig it.
He calls it the pain body.
The pain body.
Yeah, but everybody.
I'm still reading that book. I'm like on page 60.
That's like
and
the
I
best
haven't
book
gotten past
ever.
it. Yeah, A New World, right? Or A New Earth.
A New Earth.
Yeah, he has other ones too, but he calls it the pain body.
He does.
But that's what that was. Talking to you.
Yeah. So who I become? So then I walked up like, okay, ego's not gonna win. Like, you know. And I walked up to the shaman, and I put my hand on her shoulder, and she's handing me another shot. I'm steadying myself. And she goes, "Are you okay, sister?" And I looked at her and I go, "It's just my ego." And I slammed the shot.
It's just my ego.
It's just my ego. And I like popped it down. And then I took like 2 steps, and then I fell to my knees with my bucket, my trusty puke bucket. I fell to my knees, and they say when you're in that maloka, don't wear black. Like, it's spooky because it's dark at night. So if you're dressed in all black, you look like a freaking ghost. They say dress in white or like a light color so people can see you moving around in there, right? You're not, it's not, at least you're like an angel. You're not going to be like. And so one of the shaman was dressed in like a black hat and a scarf and boots, and he was wearing all black.
Yeah.
And I bent down as I'm puking on my hands and knees in this bucket. And he came over and he was like caressing my hair and handing me tissues because I'm puking.
Are we back in Costa Rica?
We're back in Costa Rica.
Okay.
We're there.
Just
We're
making
there.
sure.
Yeah. And so I came out after the toilet paper, spinning the toilet paper, puking, all this stuff. This is my ego. Give me another shot. And I take 2 steps and I fall to my knees, and this dark figure guy, shaman, comes over and he's being like spooky the way he's dressed. And he's like giving me tissue, and, they'll bless you with like little feathers and stuff and get the demons off of you. Get the bad juju away from you, get the good energy, while you're getting sick. And I got this voice as I'm puking, and it said, "You don't need any more." Got it?
Who said this was in your head?
In my head.
Okay.
Loud, just like I'm talking to you. You don't need
Wow.
any more. Got it? And I was like,
got it.
oh, as you're having this visceral puking experience, you're like, yeah, I got it. And I looked over, and his name was Oscar. He's a real person. This dark figure guy dressed in all black. I realized in that moment that my dark sides, my darkness, is here to help me, because he was being kind and gentle and nice with me and helping me just as much as my light is here to help me.
Okay. So what
your
was
ego,
the dark side?
So like your the dark sides of anyone, right?
Yeah.
So that could be your ego. That could be the shitty things you say and do. That could be maybe
like
not
trauma or past experiences or like anything
negative.
Anything negative. Anything. It's all here to help you just as much as your light. So it's and I truly believe this. This was like a new revelation. I think that they say everything's happening for you. The world is happening for you, not to you, for your good. But it's all communication. Whether it's something bad that happens or good, it's all.
And we need both.
You
actually.
need it.
You need the good and the bad.
Yeah. And that's all communication. Even bad is saying, don't go that way. Go this way where it feels good. And but I also realized, like, oh, you don't need any more. Oh, I'm a person who needs. That's who I become. I become a person that needs. I need to get this next accomplishment, or I need to hit this next goal, or I need to get this. Like I need to try to fill me.
Yeah, you don't need any more. Like
you're done needing.
Yeah.
You don't. There's no more. There's no more need to need.
Yeah.
I guess.
So
I was like,
those epiphanies or revelations or whatever you want to call it, was that you doing self-reflection about the experience, or did those things hit you at that moment?
Hit me in that moment.
Okay.
There's no reflection. That's like,
I mean, I know you heard the voice in that moment.
oh yeah.
But to understand that I don't need any more,
Yes.
that also happened in that moment.
Yes. So that's when they say you get like 10 years of therapy in a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Because you're not only hearing it, you're feeling it in your body.
Yeah.
It's an experience you will not forget.
Yeah.
Like there's moments that they're imprinted.
No, I mean, not experiencing ayahuasca, obviously, but there is, like, you can be in a super deep sleep, right?
Yeah.
Like a really deep sleep.
Yep.
And this has happened to me so many times, and my team, like, I talk about it every now and again. But an example, like, let's just say I have a proposal to do, and I will have these deep sleeps, and I will literally wake up in the sleep with the most brilliant idea, and then really wake up like, did I dream
So you would
that?
dream you woke up?
I'm not joking. Like, I will dream that I woke up with this idea laid out, present the idea. Like, sometimes it go really far. And then I'll wake up like, wait a minute, did I think of that or did I dream it? And then proceed to like I've gotten
off
at
of
least
that?
like 3 or 4 accounts off
Yeah.
of those type of experiences. I think
Wow.
Reggie was a part of one that happened not too long ago.
He like, huh?
Because it was like, it blew me away to the point to where like I had tears coming to my eyes. Like, I
Wow.
cannot believe that just happened. I put it in our group chat, like, guys, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning and I just have to like tell somebody.
And you still don't know if you was thinking it or you
No,
actually.
I was
dreamt
definitely
it.
asleep.
Okay.
And I just woke up with the entire plan. Like,
You
everything.
dreamt you woke up though.
It was all laid out.
Everything laid out. I dreamt that I woke up and wrote it out.
Yeah.
But then when I really woke up, I knew exactly what to
Exactly what
write
to- yeah.
because I had already kind of dreamt it. I say that to say,
Badass.
Wow.
I
That
think
is- I'm like, that's badass.
I've done
I want
that.
that superpower.
I've done that a lot, and it's almost like now it's kind of like, man, I need that to happen.
It's
I
like a
can't like do it on
superconscious-
demand, but yeah, right. But I say that to say I think
Mm-hmm.
it has a lot to do with the mixture taking you. Like, it's almost like on demand to get to that point where you drink it and it puts you in this mental state where you're tapping to a different part of your
Yes.
subconscious to be able to connect things,
Oh, yeah.
think clearly,
Yeah.
like all these different
Oh, yeah.
brain activities kind of working together to get you to operate at your highest,
Yes.
like highest self, I guess you can call it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
I mean, I've got more stories than that about the experience, but yes, I
I'm
mean
sure.
that it's exactly that. It's like it's connecting unconsciousness
Yes.
and bringing it to consciousness.
And I gotta say
Yeah.
one more thing.
Yeah.
Also, you study and research and read and collect so much information.
Dude.
So I can't even imagine like when you get this clarity and you can like allow that to actually work for you where you're connecting the dots, like it's probably like magic happening.
It's well, I don't know if it was. I mean,
Well, figuratively, like
yeah, maybe. I mean, my husband had. I think about this too. My husband had a vastly different experience. He did not enjoy himself, not one bit. Like
Really?
he was a mess.
Maybe he wasn't ready for it. Or
He wanted me. He's encouraged me to go.
okay.
I wasn't gonna. I was like, yeah, have fun with that. I put that stuff to rest years ago. Like I don't need to go back there or
Yeah.
whatever. And
Right.
but he processed his mother's death before she passed. Oh God, he thought I was dead. He
He
thought
did that there.
Yeah.
And
Oh
she
yeah.
hadn't passed yet.
Yeah, she had dementia, and so she wasn't well. But and so his upbringing was also he had a challenging upbringing, you know. And but he was able to work through that and all the issues that he had with his mom coming up, and you know, like process a lot of that stuff. So, but he thought I was dead. He thought his mom was dead. I mean, he thought like everybody was dead, and we went together, and he couldn't find me there because they say walk your own path and don't hang out together. So he thought he had to explain to everyone, like,
oh
what.
my goodness.
It was a little too much for
It
him,
was-
you think?
Yeah, he it was heavy. It was
Yeah.
heavy, and then it was really weird. Then it was like the last day. He was like zippity doo dah, zippity, and I was like, "What the heck is what?" Like I was so like
Like the transformation was complete.
it was weird, and I was like, "I don't even know this guy. Like, what is it? What?"
But see, so what comes to my brain is he had all of that on him.
He did.
And he needed to experience it and then get it off of him.
Yes.
Release.
So then now he probably felt like he was walking on clouds.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like when his mom passed,
He already went through it.
he already went through it.
Yes. Facts.
He already released it. So he didn't have to process it that way. Like, because I mean, my God, like he had it tough, and he had a lot of things he definitely could say to his mom.
That's so interesting.
You know, yeah. So he didn't have any of that. Like he handled it like, I'm like, wow, you sure
How
you're
long
good?
ago was it?
It was like 2 years ago.
No, how
almost.
long ago since his mom passed?
She died in February last year.
And he's been good.
Oh yeah,
See, that's
yeah.
So after that
Oh, yeah.
experience, do you
Yeah.
feel like it changed you and the way that you live now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
so?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think it made me. You're going back to that ego conversation. Going back to the ego conversation. It's not just about being a person who needs or wants more or is climbing for more, or, you know, is the competitive is not gone, but now I'm doing things in a way that I reflect upon to say, is this something that's for my next level of growth? Is this for my next step in evolution, or, you know, next path of where I need to take and where I should be going? It's not done as a way of like, oh, because I have this income goal I want to hit, and because I have this, you know, I'm committed, I'm buying a rental property this year, or I'm, you know, or whatever, or I'm, it's not done in that way now. So it's just a little bit different of an intention around it.
Okay.
Definitely less shit's given. Definitely about what other people say by a lot. Yeah. A
So
lot less care about that.
I think that's a good transition to maybe a final topic, because we've been talking for a bit. But what is your thoughts of who Michelle Saward is versus the perception of who Michelle Saward is? And do you feel like those two align? Are they different? Like, what's your thoughts?
Oh
as
yeah,
far
they're
as that
different.
go?
For sure, they're different. I think so. They're definitely different. Like, a lot of people don't, I don't think that they would think that I would be someone who meditates regularly or tries to. I'm an introvert, actually. I love being alone. I need my quiet time.
See, I would think you were an extrovert.
No.
I never would have thought that. Yeah.
I'm an introvert. Like, I get too much peopling, and then I'm home alone with my dogs. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Just leave me alone. I need my space. I need to recharge. So yeah, and I think on the outside people think, because I'm 100 miles an hour, like I go, but then I freaking stop.
Yeah.
Like, people don't see the stop. And so, like, when I go on vacation, like, I'll go to Maui, and I try to go for like 3 weeks or something. Like, I pushed it to like 24 days one time, you know, like, and, you know, so I'll take that stretch and, like, okay, I want to be me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be connected to work or what I do, or just honestly, like, if you see my clothes when I'm in Hawaii, you're like, she homeless? Didn't she wear those shorts 2 days in a row? And I think she bought those at Walmart the first day for $5. Isn't that what? Yeah. So I'm like, that to me is like, okay, I can just be myself. Like, I don't need to have a little jacket on today.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever.
Right. And that's when you feel most
Free.
like at peace and that freedom. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And that's why I like being on the water too. Like, I have a boat and I'm on the water. Is because I can just float and, you know, and go off all by ourselves and mind our business. You know, so people on the water would be like, where were you? We're like, we're taking a nap. You're taking a nap. Is that what you were doing? You guys are taking a nap? We're like, yeah, we were actually. Floating. Just chilling, spacing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think people's perception is of you? I feel like for me, I always wondered, like, what do people think of me? And I don't know, I still think that to this day. I think actually Lana posted something on Facebook yesterday, and it was something like around that topic, and Malone commented, and she's like, I always think that. I do too.
I wonder what people think.
So what do you think?
Like,
what do you
people's
think people
perception
think?
of you? Yeah.
I am. I mean, my own family will tell me these things. Like, that's probably the best, best way to hear about it. You're always on the go, and you don't make time for these things, and I don't know how you keep going like this. Like, that's what people think. And then someone else the other day said, another real estate agent said, "Why are you even working? You don't need money." I'm like, okay, is this what you think?
Right.
Is this, why are you even working? And I'm like, it's just whenever people say those things to me, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But I don't, I swear to God, especially with what the recent shakeup that I've experienced in my career, I do not give a shit. I do not give a shit what people think. Like, I am so over it.
Yeah.
I'm in this business for 23 years. I've been in business for 23 years. And I spent a big chunk of that caring more about what other people needed, what other people wanted, what other people expected. I don't give a shit anymore.
And when did you come to that conclusion?
I do not give a shit anymore.
What got you there? Was it after Costa Rica or was it?
Yeah, I think this evolution, it started probably then because I was like, okay, I'm gonna, went to Costa Rica, bought a new house, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start to like bring in a consultant and try to leverage out of the business. And when I brought in a business consultant, it just revealed everything. It was like, no, there's higher accountability now. No more sweeping that shit under the rug. Okay, you gotta be accountable now. You gotta answer. People don't like that.
Yeah.
Let me just say, people do not like that. And we were already busy, and then I was laying another additional layer of work on top of already being busy. And I broke it. I broke the system. I broke what was, working at a high level. Because I really am a huge believer, and that was what it called out to, is that I started to be way more open and vulnerable and really started to say what I want and what my future looks like and where I want this to go and what my vision is. And it became more about like people realizing, oh, well, hang on. Wait, she's talking about her business and what she wants. Okay, she's asking me what I want, and she's saying that she wants to help me, but damn, this is a lot of work, and I don't know that I want to do this anymore. And I'm like, then don't. Then don't. Because I'm good. Like, I don't need to mold myself or bend myself for people that are not in true alignment with me. I did so much like, stay, don't go, or begging people or, oh, you got that problem? Yeah, I know it's a problem. We're not going to talk about it. We'll just ignore it. Just keep on moving. Just keep it moving. And I just started calling it all to the light, all to the light, all to the light. And the more exposed I became, and the more I called the light, the more people were like, this is too much challenge. Yeah. This is
and a lot of times I just let you know they're not in alignment with where you're going. So,
yeah. So I'm like, all right, the Michelle that you used to know, that you liked before and you thought was cool, that's not who I am now. So, okay. So if people talk about me and they say, oh yeah, Michelle's a bitch, Michelle this and that. Well, Michelle used to not be a bitch at one point. She was not a bitch for a long time. Yeah. But then when I started just getting like really clear on what it is that I want and what my priorities really are, yeah, that's it. So
I get it.
I mean, but I mean, in my opinion, it's a much less stressful life when you're living in a way that you want to live versus what sounds like you living for everybody else.
I was.
In my experiences personally, I know just even in like you saying, I'm going to put on a nice little jacket versus wearing the thing that I want to live, like that feels stressful in my brain. It's like stressful. Like feeling like there's kind of like this expectation of who I'm supposed to be professionally or who I'm supposed to be when I'm not being professional or whatever environment I'm in. Yeah. Like for me personally, I choose that. Like you don't choose that. I choose that. So if me wearing a hoodie and a hat in an environment that you've deemed professional offends you, that is your issue. That's not my issue. Right on. You need to deal with that. I'm sorry. Yeah. And if you want to have a conversation to try to understand my perspective, I am happy to have that. But if you want to be offended or feel a certain way, then that's not my problem. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I will say, ever since, I got into real estate, I, second guess what I'm wearing when I go to the grocery store. Even if I want to go there, late at night to grab some ice cream real quick, I'm I'm wearing sweatpants and
you
a
are
hoodie.
Way too fit to eat ice cream. You do not.
I do. Yeah. And I'm but I look like I don't know. Like you even just anything in general, like what you're doing. Like you said, I'm way too tipsy right now to be out in public.
Yes.
I don't want my like brand to be ruined.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
it's a reputation.
I bounced. I just grabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it can be stressful.
Yeah.
It can be stressful to like have to almost live two lives.
It is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is. And so this is my jam now. Like, and I think it's always been my jam, but I'm really like going for it of like authenticity and really deep conversation. Like Dave and I got into an argument. Oh, hi, honey. We got into an argument this weekend because I was like, hold up. You didn't tell me the truth about how you were feeling.
Yeah.
And I was led to believe something else. We got a problem, dude. And and he was like, well, I didn't want you to be upset. And I'm like, whoa. You don't want me to be upset, so you didn't tell me the truth about how you're really feeling? I'm more upset.
Yeah.
That's me all the way. I'm just like Dave. I'll admit
This
it.
is why I love you.
I'll admit it.
You're
because,
like my husband.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I'm like Dave.
It always turns out worse in the end, though.
It
Yes.
does, but
Yeah.
I
Yes.
hate letting people down.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate
Yeah.
telling people no. I don't want confrontation. I don't want someone yelling at me.
It's easier to
'cause
not communicate.
I will ignore text messages. I will hang up on somebody. I don't want it. Like if there's any negativity, it's like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Be bold, though. So I'm gonna tell you,
know.
when I asked you for a favor, I sent you a text and said, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" And you text me back, "Can we talk?"
That took a lot out of me.
And I'm gonna tell, I respected the hell out of you for it. To this
That was
day, you don't
fine.
even know what I was gonna ask you, because I didn't.
I knew what you were gonna ask me.
You think you know? You don't know.
You're gonna ask me to watch a dog.
Today, you don't even know. You don't know. And but you don't know. But I'm like, to this day, you still don't technically know. Okay,
Yeah.
but you can assume.
Right,
Okay.
no, you're right.
You're probably right. But anyway,
But that's assuming. No, you're right.
But I respected the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Because you're like, you didn't say, I said, hey, can I ask a favor? And then you just said, can we talk? And then we talked about what your concern was and what you had going on.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's badass. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Like, I was like, all right,
Yeah.
that's good. Like, and that's okay.
It's hard. It's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
It takes a lot of energy
Yeah.
for us to do that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, it's just easier not to do it because it takes too much energy, you know?
I
But
think it's-
as
I
you
think it's-
grow, I was just gonna say, as you grow and as you go through life, you're gonna find that's gonna drain you even more.
know.
Like trying to please everyone and trying to, do that. It'll drain you even more.
Yeah, I think the way you put it, as you go through life, as you grow through life,
Yeah.
because I was in my mind probably a people pleaser, and that's what you're saying sounds like that.
Yeah.
Like you're a people pleaser, which means you want to make sure everybody's good, and then when they're not, you want to avoid the situation altogether. And I think my growth, or me being a people pleaser, broke when our dad died. And then you realize you don't have the capacity. Like, you're going to either break yourself,
Yeah.
like you're going to lose your own mind, which is, for me, that was not negotiable. Like, you're not going to break me. So now it's like self-preservation.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to save myself, because if I
Yeah.
don't, now everything falls apart.
Correct.
Yeah.
When you reach that point, that's when you have to really be self-aware and evaluate what's most important. And life completely flipped upside down, but I had to learn what that looked like, because now you got to create boundaries
Yep.
as to what you're going to actually deal with. And now I handle things completely different.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
an inch, I'm shutting it down. Like we're going to talk about this right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that word people pleaser, I heard it years ago. Like Oprah's like, I was a people pleaser. And I was like, ooh, what? It just sounds awful.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, you mean you say like, yes sir, yes ma'am.
No.
Like you
Yeah.
just bow down to whatever people want. But then it's a bigger concept than just like, yes sir,
Definitely.
yes ma'am.
100%.
It's like, everyone does it on some level. Like, it's just the magnitude in which we do it.
Yeah.
Like, people pleasing because I was here. Well, I wasn't on time, but imagine if I was here on time today. That's people pleasing.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what are other people going to think if I come in?
You don't want to let people
like,
down.
I don't want to let people down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's even people pleasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, So we all do it at some degree,
Yeah.
just to have a functioning society,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But when you're doing it at your own demise, like what Robert was saying, when you're
Yeah.
doing it and you're going to lose yourself as a
Right.
result,
Yeah.
that's where, okay, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you're enabling, because like I know for me, like even
Yeah.
with our team, you know, like the one transition was on a just general person level. It's like, okay, I have to like create boundaries, but like my team wasn't on that level. Like my team
Yeah.
was closer. So for them, it's like I can give them a little bit more than I'm gonna give like the average Joe Schmo because I don't really know them.
Yeah.
But then Ashley situation happened.
Yeah.
Then it went deeper. Like, okay, now even with my team, I can't manage all these personalities no more. I don't have
Yeah.
the capacity. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the energy no more.
You couldn't manage me.
Unfortunately.
You were like, Michelle, you were a lot.
There was
Sorry.
there
It was
was a
good.
lot.
We
of,
had this conversation.
There was a lot of people affected by that transition.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
again, now it's self-preservation. Again, it's like, what can you handle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's your boundaries going to start? Going to stop? If you're aligned with my energy, my existence, then great. But if you're not, I have to sacrifice, and I can't care what that looks like.
Yeah. And that's why I feel that is the most important thing is boundaries. Because if you don't set those boundaries, people are going to always expect that from you.
Yep.
And then what happens when a traumatic experience happened or something happened where you can't be there? You're not there mentally to be able to be in that spot that they want you to be, then it's going to be a problem.
Correct.
Yeah.
But if you set those boundaries already, they're going to, oh no, she don't play. She's not going to do that. So
Yeah.
I'm not even going to add, so boundaries is, I
I've
feel
always
important.
admired people like that, just didn't take any shit from people. They kind of like, they set their boundaries and people were kind of like almost scared to ask them stuff. But I think it's just, my parents
Yeah.
are people pleasers. So that's just how I was raised.
Yeah.
Right.
So like, I don't know any other way.
Yeah,
you know?
I think your upbringing has a big, like just
Yeah.
listening to you talk today make a lot of stuff make sense.
Now I want to know why.
No, I mean, I feel like that's why these conversations are so important because, at least for me, like I am an evaluator. Like every inch of information you give me helps me get a true idea of who you are. And when I understand you, now it allows me to, I can take what you do and I'm going to see it through a different lens. It's like, oh, she's that competitive because as a young girl, she literally fought for basically everything, like this is her foundation.
Yeah.
And if you don't know that, then it's like, why does she gotta be like that? Like, it's just, you can't, there's no dots to connect if you don't hear the stories around why people are the way they are. So I think it's super important.
It is super important. This is why, and the more conversations that you have like this, and the more you get to, this is, my degree's in history and anthropology. It's like any study of human story, I'm in. I'm like, oh, that's what happened? That's why those people were so angry and invaded that place? Okay, all right. This is why they went and got their guns and they jumped on those boats and they killed those, okay, got it. Or whatever.
Okay.
I'm like, oh, that makes sense. They were fighting for resources. They were fighting for, okay, yeah, I got it. They need to eat. Okay.
Right.
They weren't bad people. They were hungry. Whatever.
Yeah.
It changes the whole dynamic, like the story. Story.
For sure. I mean, that's why our company exists because of my love for the full circle of everything. And that's why I'm constantly pushing tell your story because now everything that you do will immediately make sense, right? It's like the more we know, the more we're connected, on some level.
I didn't understand. Brooke was the first person. I know you said it to me many, many times, Robert, but there's saying it and hearing it.
Yeah, for sure.
So Brooke was the first person that really made me understand watching Brooke come up with what she created on her social media platform. She's like, I'm going to be seen as the real estate agent. I'm like, you just got your license. How are you going to be seen? This is a couple years ago, whatever, right? how are you going to be seen as that? And then I just watched her build this brand around what she's doing. And it's like, okay, she's got her fitness, you know, she's got her real estate. She's got now her podcast stuff, what she does, like, you know, working with you. And I watched this like, oh, now I understand what you mean when you say story, because you would even say, tell us about you. I'm like, what? I got 2 dogs.
And look at all this today. Yeah.
Right.
So much
Look
deeper.
at all this.
Like
There's so many layers.
I have a boat. What do you want?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's boring. Like what?
And so
You
we
know?
have one more question for
Yeah.
you, I think, because I think it's about time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
But what would Michelle today tell the little girl, Michelle?
What would I tell little girl Michelle? I guess I would just, just remind her, because I've tried hard to do this throughout my life, but just remind her now, like Michelle today, is just keep doing what gives you bliss or brings you joy. Just keep doing that, and then it'll be fine. Just keep on that path.
Okay.
So, because I've taken some detours where I'm like, oh, I don't like this, and I don't like that, you know. Just get out of that don't like it situations faster, and just keep going to what makes you happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, when you say that, I like there's this picture that Michelle has. It's my favorite picture of you.
I think
And
I know.
she's like 6 or 5, and she's has like is it a Budweiser can?
I have like, yeah, 2.
At
2,
6?
Yeah. I'm wearing a
When
boys.
did you start drinking? Did you start drinking at 6?
At 6.
We didn't establish.
Listen.
Well, maybe you don't want to say that.
I don't know what was going on, but all I know is she is smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah.
She has a similar can in her hand,
And one in each hand.
in both hands,
Yeah.
Okay.
and you could just see how happy
Yeah.
you were in
Yeah.
that moment. And
Yeah.
I think, like we all strive to find like the inner child in us,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And so when you say that, it's like keep being that little girl is what like I hear is like,
Yeah.
you know, if you're talking to your younger self. But
That
I think
makes
that picture
sense.
just really speaks volumes.
I think that's
Yeah.
almost what you just said.
No,
That's
it is. That's
actually-
what popped in my head when
You know
she started
what?
talking
Actually,
about
I'm thinking about that picture, and it's like I'm wearing a boys hand-me-down Snoopy football sweatshirt, and I'm holding up. They used to have like no brand beer, and I'm holding up 2 beers. Like there's 2 beers left. You know, like
She's a little girl on the porch calling for friends.
that's I was actually fetching beer for my parents. I'm the beer fetcher. Like I just go get the beer and bring it back.
Funny.
And but yeah, like I had to think a big wad of gum in my mouth too. Like I'm chewing like a big thing of bubble gum. Whatever.
That was bubblegum, right?
Probably.
Right, not you.
It's probably some big league chew. Like probably that's what it was or something. Yeah.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, but it's just so that's like I'm like, oh, that's how I am in Hawaii. I have like a hand-me-down sweatshirt on. I've got like a big wad of gum in my mouth. I'm probably barefoot.
Yeah, that's why you love it so much.
It's the same.
Because at that moment in your life when you had those 2 beer cans, you were so just like happy and carefree.
Yeah.
And then when you go there, it can like take you back
Yeah,
to
it
that
does.
place.
I think we need a new social media page, just like Michelle in Hawaii,
Let's do it. I'm down. I'm down.
unfiltered.
I'm down.
All right, well,
Perfect.
that's it for this podcast.
Yeah.
How long has it been, Reg?
120.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good
This was
conversation.
good.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
So thank you for tuning it back into the RPR podcast. Stay tuned for next week. And yeah, we'll see you later.
All right, guys.
That's
Bye.
a wrap.
Peace.
Cool.
Cut.
Oh, I feel like we're just getting started.
I know. Here,
Right.
can you press that?
That
You need a part 2.
I know.